Welcome to Holdback Rack Podcast. My name is Jessica Hare. I operate Hare Hollow Farm, and we breed boas, balls, and select colubrids.
Hi, I'm Jana King. I operate ASM Royal Tails, and I breed high-end ball pythons.
We want to share our journey navigating herpetoculture and are dedicated to promoting biohazard safety for all species. And we would love you to answer the question, what's in your holdback rack? Episode 30 that
Take
we already
two.
recorded because Jessica's fucked up again. God.
It's been rough for everybody. It's just like, I don't know, a fucking full moon or something.
Yeah, it was
but
eclipse,
take two.
lunar eclipse last night or tonight.
Crap. Sorry.
I missed it.
Just a little forewarning after I've already dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah, this is a not safe for work podcast. We use bad language and crude humor to illustrate sometimes a point, but often not a point at all. So
Sometimes we just like to say penis like 10 times just because we can.
100%.
So sorry about that not safe for work F-bomb. But really, I'm not sorry.
We don't apologize here. We just actualize.
Actualize. I like that.
So both of our throats are a little scratchy, and it's not because of what you might think. It's because we just came back from the Monroe show. What is it called? The Washington Reptile Expo? The official name?
Northwest
Reptile Expo?
Reptile Expo. And then it's the Seattle Metro Reptile Show. They have a name for the Seattle one, and they have one for the Portland one. But the company is the Northwest Reptile Expo.
So we'll be just mostly reflecting on our time there. And we might just chit-chat about collection stuff later. But Jana did a 5-minute, eloquent, beautifully worded.
It was so good, you guys. It was
Oh my
so
God,
good.
you missed it. I wish
poured my heart out.
we had recorded it about her show prep. Would you like to go over it a little bit again? You don't have to say it exactly as beautiful as it was before because no one can recapture.
No one could recapture the moment. It was gone. It's just gone.
It's like the Tenacious
The
D
ethos.
song, the greatest song in the world. Like, this isn't it, but it's a tribute. So this will be a tribute to what was not recorded just moments ago.
So I have not yet dropped this bomb, and I dropped it much better in the previous recording that was not recording. But I am mid-divorce right now, and so the last 6 weeks of my life have been pretty crazy. A lot of changes, a lot of redirection on my part for my life. What I'm doing, my projected life 5-year plan has drastically changed. So the show, it's a one-day show, and it's a real small show, was about third or fourth tier on my give a fucks list. So my show prep, because I kind of feel like I'm old hat at it, and I have most of my show stuff all together in like bins, and so there isn't a lot of prep. But I didn't even know how many snakes I was taking until like Wednesday. I thought I was only going to bring like a couple because I had thought when I signed up for this show that I'd have at least like 3 clutches to take. But one of my gravid females died. My Nido clutch did not survive. And my first clutch of the season that hatched out got laid late, like 2 weeks late. So they haven't had enough meals to go. So I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have like 5 snakes. I don't even know why I'm going to this show. Like, my life's a fucking train wreck right now. What the hell am I doing? But hey, a reptile show, so we're going to do it. So I actually talked to one of my friends who had a bunch of hatchlings from last year, and she's in California, Renfro Reptiles on Instagram, if you're curious. And she was like, yeah, I'll send you some snakes. And I was like, great. Send me like 15 snakes. Then I'll have some snakes to take to this show. Wednesday
Can
or
I ask
Thursday.
you a question about it?
Yeah.
Was it on consignment or did you buy it from her wholesale? Or
So I didn't buy them. They're, I don't guess, on consignment. She sent them to me, and I sold them for her, and she got the money.
Oh, you didn't get like a 10%?
No, I didn't do anything like that. I probably could have, but I didn't really care. I just wanted to have something to take to the show, and she had snakes to sell, and I didn't. So
Are you going to send back hers that did not sell?
No, so she's coming up for the July show.
Oh,
again. She
is she
came
gonna
last year.
vend with you?
Yes, so she'll vend with me in the July show. So I'll just sell her snakes then too, or she'll sell her snakes then too.
Is she
So I sold
paying to feed her snakes?
yes.
Okay.
She's paying to feed her snakes, and she offered to pay me a wage to take care of her snakes. And I'm like, really? What's like 8 more snakes in my rack? Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, pay for the rats because rats are expensive, but I don't need you to pay me like room and board or whatever. She was totally chill, and I could have taken her part of her prop. I didn't care about any of that. We're good friends, and it just made sense at the time. So she sent me up her snakes. They got here on Friday, and I took them straight to the show. Then I actually like went into my room and took a cold hard look at my holdback rack and realized that I had way too many fucking snakes in there. I mean, you don't need 20 het pied females.
Probably not.
Probably not. I looked at my adult females and just decided who needed to get out. And I actually ended up having about 15 snakes to take, which was really surprising for me because I literally thought I had five. So I
15 of
probably
your
didn't
own or
of
15?
my own.
Okay, yeah.
So I probably didn't even need to have her send me snakes. But anyways, I took like 30 snakes to the thing. But it was like my prep was, oh shit, I should go in and write a list of who's coming, print out some labels. And then Friday morning, I went to my storage unit, got out my show stuff, rifled through my boxes to make sure that they looked right-ish, threw some snakes in displays, threw it all in my car, and then went to Monroe. So it was like very, very minimal give a fucks. So maybe that means I'm old hat. Maybe that means I just like didn't care enough. I really can't decide.
A one-day show is easier, definitely easier to prep for. I don't know if you said this in the not recorded version or not. You don't need as much junk.
It just felt like it wasn't something I needed to even think about until like the moment it was happening.
I kind of knew what I was taking, but I hadn't yet put snakes in the display to see what snakes actually fit. So I had to spend time Friday just like jamming snakes into the different holes and be like, does this snake fit in this hole? You know what I mean? It's like a weird thing to learn because you haven't quite jammed enough snakes in enough holes yet. Oh, whoa. What kind of podcast is this? Yeah. But once you start jamming, you get it. It's like riding a bike. So I ended up having too many holes to fill, if you know what I mean. So you had to look around.
So she needs to bring over some friends.
Right. So I ended up taking holdbacks and just be like, okay, what's the price I want to sell it at? Not the price I think it will sell at. And then I put that price on it. So just to fill up the
I had a couple of
display
that I had in mind that I'm not sad that they came home.
Right. We can get into this later, but there's a point where Chris was like, why did you price them high if you knew that was high? And I'm like, fuck these people.
If they pay it, then you're going to take their money. But
right. This is the price I want to sell it at, not the price I think it will sell at.
Right.
So.
Well, because if you don't know, our local show prices are much lower than like Morph Market pricing or even other show prices, but much lower. But you're also paying to not have to deal with 15 emails of stupid questions and tire kicking and right. So like it's worth it to do the shows. I'm not saying don't do the shows. I'm just saying our shows you have to price your snakes lower than you would if you were selling them on Morph Market.
Yeah, and I think there are other shows. Most shows are probably cheaper than Morph Market, just in general, because there's a little bit of padding there. But
I feel like the big southern shows aren't cheaper. I feel like they're
the big ones aren't, but the like little ones are much cheaper than Morph Market. Like also, spot nose yellow belly clowns for males for $1,500. You know, $1,000 cheaper.
Where can I get in line for that?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Fill my holes.
Oh, Janet's ready. So that's what I was doing. Like, there's stuff that...
Do you have a show box yet? Because this is your second show.
The stuff that came back from the last show went into a box, and now it is the show box.
Okay.
Obviously, the acrylic displays don't fit in it, and the wood...
No, my don't go in the box.
Right.
They have
and then, like, the big wooden displays I had before, I didn't bring this time because I had the acrylics, but they also wouldn't fit in it. Like, if I bought, like, 2 corners at some point... I couldn't actually fit all that in one car trip in my current car. Time to buy a truck, I guess.
Time to buy a truck or just take half to the setup the night before and bring the second half in the morning.
Yeah, if I was doing Puyallup
A 2-day
the rest
show.
of my
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
but if I was doing like something that's 3 hours
Oh,
away,
yeah, like NARBC or
yeah,
something.
I'd have to.
Rented truck or
Yeah,
something. Lots of people do like a U-Haul or something for the
yeah,
weekend.
that's pretty normal too. So I also did not do much show prep. Very strong idea of what I was taking long in advance. I've been thinking that.
You're not gonna go into like the give a fucks range of how fucked your life is happening right now with
Oh,
moving across the country.
yeah. So since
So
I'm moving far away, I have to have less snakes that go there. I don't know. I don't fucking know what snakes to sell really, because it's hard. Because you're like, do you destroy a whole project by taking one animal out and then have to sell the rest of them because that one animal is gone, or do you split the project in half and keep half? I mean, it's that sort of business. I think a lot about how I hate selling snakes. It costs less than $300, just as a general rule.
hmm
Literal torture, no matter where you are. Wharf Market, Craigslist, Facebook, the reptile show,
the corner,
the
yeah,
corner. Those holes need to be filled, but you don't really
yes,
want to, is what I'm
right.
saying.
It ain't worth it. Some
Right.
days.
And so I want corn snakes to be worth more than what they are. But
Your love
nobody.
for them and their little nuanced patterns does not equate to their market value,
Right. And we'll
unfortunately.
get into the how much things sold for and which things sold later on. Part of me is like if I'm going to sell a ball python now because its potential progeny are only worth $300, right?
Right?
Shouldn't I sell every corn snake because all of their potential progeny are worth less than $300? Like, why would I sell the ball python before the corn snake? Since the corn snake is much more limited in sort of top end price.
Well, the corn snakes, they're all in that range. So unless you're getting out of corn snakes, you don't have to sell the corn snakes that are going to be sub 300. But ball
R-
pythons, that's different. It's just a completely different animal, literally. Like different beast,
It
different
is a
market,
different
different.
animal, different market. But if the primary criteria for a good transaction is that it's expensive, which it seems to be, that's what it ends up being, then maybe I need to do less corn snakes, is what I'm starting to think. Or
I've been
maybe
saying that from day one, and you're like, get into corn snakes, and I'm like, there's no profit margin for
oh,
me, and I don't
there
want to
is a
do
profit margin. It's just not worth
50.
it.
I don't want to do $50 snakes.
It doesn't cost me that much to make a corn snake because it doesn't cost that much to feed an adult pair of corn snakes or house.
Correct.
Because they could be ambient, 80 degrees, just on a bin on top of your ball python rack that costs $4,000. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The extra overhead of a production. It probably costs $5 to make a corn snake baby. But the $50 to $100 you earn selling that corn snake baby is
It's like having your teeth
torture.
pulled
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Even when it's not torture, it's still kind of torture. And
It's
I.
not like the fun kind of torture.
Whoa! Now we know what Jana's really into.
Yes, we
And I
do.
don't want to be too negative on corn snakes, but
No, you love corn
yeah, I
snakes.
think corn snakes are so accessible and fun and colorful and easy to take care of. I just want corn snakes to be more expensive. They deserve to be more expensive. People need to treat them like a fun, cool, high-end breeding project. If somebody spent 30 years fixing something in a snake, it doesn't need to be $100. It took 30 years. It could be $500. Who cares?
That is why I have very little interest in them. And like I said, I would do the palmettos, but the stupid eye shit.
I mean, maybe you could still do palmettos and just king snake away the buggiest eyeball of them. I don't know. I'm even looking at palmettos. I'm like, should I just fucking sell my soul to Satan? Just buy 10 female palmettos this year and buy 2 males next year and just sell out right away. Because they look nice. You just can't sell all of them. I'm a hack. Fraud. It's fine.
That's where I'm at with corn snakes. I think they're beautiful. I love watching you do it, but for me, it doesn't feel worth it to get invested in how cool they are and all the cool little things and nuances when I'm like, I don't want to poke my eyes out and rip out my teeth to sell a $50 snake.
Right. I mean, the idea would be to only have corn snakes that are already all only $300, right?
Right.
So
Right. I
like,
mean, that's one of the reason why you're like, oh, well, how is that different than having garters? But, the red-sided garters are worth, the females are like 600 a piece.
for now,
You don't think that's going to last?
mm-mm.
Oh,
They
well,
have a
even
lot
if
of babies, and there's nothing to differentiate.
there's literally no one selling red-sided garters in this area.
So,
Okay. Okay. We can agree to disagree. That's cool.
I think you'll be able to sell your garters, but I don't think it's going to be any less irritating than selling a $300 corn snake.
No, it's going to be exactly the same amount of irritating.
Right, it's the same kind of people.
It's going to be $600, not $50.
Right. Well,
Or
my
$100.
point of the story is I need to sell female corn snakes that produce any $50 babies, or I need to wholesale those babies immediately and do not attempt to sell them publicly at all. I think is where we're coming into this
Yes.
dumb podcast.
I agree with everything that you just
And
said.
I think most corn snake breeders do that. They look at their clutches. They got cool combos. Any of the norms, Posset, 10 things, they just wholesale immediately. They might not even start them. It's like the out of the egg special to whoever. Because it's just not worth it.
Yeah, or you feed them to
But
the
we'll
king
get
snakes.
into what sold or didn't sell. Yeah, that too. So I didn't do a ton of prep, but I knew what I was like, let me air quote this one, desperate to sell. So I priced to sell the stuff that I was like, you need to go. And then I didn't price to sell the stuff that I was like, fine to sit on.
I probably should have priced things cheaper. I probably would have done a little better. But I didn't care.
I forgot the keys to my display case. I just want everyone to know this.
It broke my heart so bad.
I took many things, but
if
not
you weren't
the
moving,
keys.
I would make a swap.
Oh, a
I
set?
have like 5 keys to my display cases.
I think I have
So like swapping one each.
4 sets of 2. They're all the same.
So if you weren't leaving, I would say we should swap at least 1 key each.
Yeah.
Because it just literally broke my heart. Because mine would turn it like
a quarter of an inch.
A quarter of an inch, but not the other quarter of an inch that you needed.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck.
We stopped at Lowe's to try to like find any cabinet key that would fit. We bought 4 that they had. None of those worked. Jana's didn't work. Puget Sound Pythons didn't work. Ball Python Boulevard had ARS across the way. So nobody else had Dreamco, and Dreamco is apparently out of business now. So no one else will ever have Dreamco keys.
That's so funny. You just bought yours.
Yeah, I guess whatever
5 seconds ago.
COVID delays or whatever, we're just sucking the life out of them. Because if you can't make anything, you can't make any money.
Right.
So
and your customers bitch a lot.
Yeah, so they are out of business. So you can't buy, which sucks because like I would buy an ARS case if it was ever available. It hasn't been available.
It's not. The Dreamco ones are nice. Like they were a nice product. That's a bummer.
Yeah, they are nice. I liked them. They're gone now.
What?
Oh, the company is gone.
Oh, I thought you sold all your show shit.
I'm going to keep them.
You're moving it, right?
For now. I don't know what the hell's going to happen when we get there. I'm assuming we will try to vend in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't know.
Because there's a bunch of shows within 3 hours of you.
Right, but the Herp Show Network, it has like a vendor wait list. So it's like a year out or whatever.
Have you gotten on the wait list already?
No, because I don't know anything.
That's fair.
I don't know where we live.
Across the fucking country with 300 snakes and 1 million eggs. So cut her some slack.
Yeah, I want to find a house and move in, and then I'll think about it. I just don't even
the
know.
Emotion of anything else, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the first show I would vend would be Arlington, not even like the Herp Show Network or the Show Me shows. Not because I don't like those, but because those ones have wait lists for vendors. I don't think Arlington does, and it's just as big as Tinley, but just in the south with more barbecue and top hats.
Barbecue. Oh my gosh, if you vend Arlington, I want to fly down and
hang out.
Yeah,
it'd be fun because
invite myself.
Justin
Bitch, I'm showing up.
Justin and some other big dogs will regularly do Arlington, so you might actually like. Let me put this in quotes.
Rub shoulders with some
see
folks.
cool people. In
Fill
quote.
some holes.
Whoa, whoa! He's happily married, Jana. All right.
I didn't mean with him.
Oh, just with
He's
some.
very happily married.
Just with some other holes. Okay.
Just other holes. Fill your holes in your displays.
Oh, because you need to get your whole back rack holes filled because you just sold them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something like that. Mm-hmm. There was a a Twitch live streamer named Pterodactylus that was there. Did you see her?
I think she filmed my table.
Yeah, I posted her stream on the Holdback Harem Facebook group, which is the Facebook group for this podcast. So if anybody wants to join and talk about random, either topics related to the podcast or just whatever you want, I don't give a shit.
There was a good discussion on one of the posts that I meant to comment on and then never went back and did that.
Yeah, Kevin Saunders was talking about some boa stuff. So we'll probably do boa feeding finally next week to sort of round out that discussion. But this is the post Monroe show. I didn't want to like sprinkle in too much about that yet. But the Twitch live streamer, I thought that was pretty interesting. She's apparently like works at Bungie, which is pretty fun. So Jana
works in what?
Bungie, the game studio. They make
Halo
so
Jana
games.
and I, okay, yeah.
We all even like
Halo is.
You know what was cool? This is not cool to anybody else, but we drove past the Wizards of the Coast office building on the way to and from the show. And I'm like, look, there it is.
Look there.
What a fucking nerd.
Magic happened.
What a super nerd.
Well, we're going to reptile shows.
Yeah, so
breed snakes. I'm pretty sure super nerd is like a requirement.
Mm-hmm. You want to know a story that has nothing to do with this podcast?
Oh gosh, it's story time.
So Chris and I's second date was at Tuesday Night Magic. It wasn't even Friday Night Magic at the local card store.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I haven't played Magic in too many years.
It's fine. You don't need to. I think paper Magic is on its way out anyway because COVID killed it a little bit. But the digital versions are fine. Can you fall in love with someone because they deftly wield an Esper control deck? Maybe.
Yes. Yes, you can. You can totally. That's like foreplay.
Oh, hey, girl.
You can absolutely get into it with the Magic. Yep. Most of the people here that are in this community have spent nerdy nights in game shops in the back room playing Magic and drinking Pepsi and eating some pizza.
So I never played Magic growing up, by the way. It just didn't happen. But I like
happened for her.
But I did. I mean, I did a lot of weird things, but that just did not. I don't know why we're talking about Magic now, but
because you just got to roll with these things when the magic happens.
Brother and I were living together before I met Chris, and we just we're like, let's learn to play Magic, and so we picked up Magic decks. Ironically, like the winter before I met Chris. So when I met Chris, I had like at least a tacit understanding of Magic the Gathering and like play systems or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when he left for C-17 school, I ended up taking the deck that he was playing somewhat competitively with locally and then playing after him. So that's my brief.
He left you his deck.
Hit the deck.
Yeah, that's hot. That's commitment right there.
Oh god. Yeah, and he had a bunch of fetches, and I could have sold those fuckers for like $20 each. Yeah,
I haven't played Magic since my teens.
It's become much more complicated.
I probably can't even speak Magic, but my older brothers played all growing up, and so I knew all about it. And then once they like went off to college and stuff, and it was not as cool anymore to them, I inherited their decks. So I had badass decks, and so I would go to like the gaming shops and stuff and hang out and play these decks that were like 10 years old and like badass. And so it was way fun. Were
you in a constructed league ever, or were you just playing for fun?
No. There was never like constructed league. It was just like literally this card shop locally to me, and there was literally a back room with like a card table. A couple nights a week, I would go and play, and it was fun.
What a super nerd!
super nerd. We'd order pizza, and it was like a bunch of people that I worked with when I like was like working fast food and going to college, and like that teen life, that late teens life. It was pretty fun,
Yeah,
and I
that's the
and I
age where
enjoyed it.
most people do it. For some reason, I started doing it as a 27-year-old with a master's degree for fun.
Yeah, I mean it's a good time. It kind of evolved into like Settlers of Catan as I got a little older. That game came out and became pretty popular, so we
Like, I played it at home for fun, but I only played it in stores in, like, constructed 4-round tournaments.
yeah, no, I was never
Yeah.
involved in a tournament.
Yeah, they kind of suck because you're like, all right, we need to fight each other for an hour. Then you get like a 5-minute break. Then you need to fight somebody else for an hour. 5-minute
Yeah,
break.
no, I never did
Fight
any of that.
and
That
you're like,
sound does not sound fun to me. It was more like fucking around for two
yeah, that's
hours.
much more fun, probably. Right.
It was way more fun. Or
Yeah.
in like, and you spend like half of it like chatting about your decks. And like I said, I had my older brother's decks. Like I had a whole box of their decks, and so we would like, they'd go through like, this card's worth like $100, and like, I mean, there
It's
was
probably
some
worth a
level of
lot more now.
geeky Nick.
Where'd they go?
I'm sure they're in a box somewhere in my
Do you have any
storage unit.
Black Lotuses?
Probably.
Do you?
Probably. I would
They're
have to
like
look. I literally had a whole box.
$20,000.
What?
Mm-hmm. You had
Oh, I
Alpha
don't know.
or whatever. All right, let's move
That
on.
doesn't sound right.
All right.
Yes. Yes. Well, moving on.
All right, that was Magic the Gathering, the
Yes.
intermission.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
But we
Here
drove
on
past
the podcast.
Wizards of the Coast to and from the show, so that was almost the most fun part for me.
Other than the dying part.
Yeah, there was a ton of families as usual, a lot of browsing and a lot of not wanting to buy anything. I had people like be like, I had no idea why I was coming here. Say this to my face. I just thought this was like literally a show, like a thing where they display animals or whatever. And they're like, we had no idea it was like anything else, like a thing where things are sold. I was like, whoops, marketing didn't work out very well for you guys.
Oh.
And I was like,
Yeah, there was like the advertising for the show was done very poorly.
I didn't ask, did you hear from anyone the like door numbers?
I meant to ask and then forgot.
Yeah. So
I would guess like between 2,000 and 3,000 people.
okay, I have no idea. Couldn't guess. I know Hillsborough was
They don't-
7,000, 7,800.
Yeah, they don't ever post for this show. They don't ever post store numbers.
Okay. So this show, I guess if people want some context here, if they haven't gone to this show before, the size of the show venue was the size of Hillsborough in March, but there was less vendors. The physical size of the building. How many vendors do you think there were? I didn't get a chance to walk around. Did you?
I did walk around. There had to have been 30 vendors, maybe.
Okay.
That's,
There was some
Does anything-
empty sections.
there were so many empty tables. There was big, long sections that were set up but were empty along the outside edge. I'm trying not to be negative about the show. It's real hard.
Were you personally disappointed by, I don't know, like the composition of the vendors or something in particular, or the showplex, or is it just that you wish more vendors had showed up that had obviously tried to show up?
Maybe just the way it was laid out with big gaps.
Right, it should have been tighter together.
It should have been tighter together. There shouldn't have been people along the outside if you had big gaps in the center. That's not how I would set up a show. I would set up a show where everything was filled in, and if people weren't showing up,
Condense people back together again.
condense people back together again. Although people probably be pissed about having to move their whole setup. I don't know. It looked a little unprofessional. I knew it was a smaller show. I've been to their Portland show and was
Is that one even
aware-
smaller or same size, do you think, in terms of number of vendors?
probably the same amount of vendors, but it's a smaller venue, so it didn't seem the number of vendors made sense for the space in Portland.
Okay.
But it isn't as nice a show as the Pac Northwest show. But I knew that. I knew it was a smaller show.
We also have to commend them. It's the only all captive bred show. Pac North is not all captive bred.
I didn't even realize that this one was captive bred.
Right. If you bring something wild caught, you can't bring it. You have to put it away. So there's no triple L's, no scary wholesalers. It's forced all captive bred. One of the show promoters came around. I had wild type for like normal, was just using a different word.
Right.
And she's like, are these wild caught? I'm like, no. The word wild type just means it's a normal allele. And she's like, oh, and that was that. I was like,
So
okay.
they were actually checking.
Yes.
That's cool. It's a smaller show. I'd do it again.
It was still cleaner and nicer than any small show on the East Coast. Can I repeat that one real loud? Like
real loud, yeah, for the people in the back, like me, who've never been to an East Coast show. I mean, that makes me feel good. That's good then.
I'm talking like
I'll
a
quit
high
bitching
school basketball court gym, and each vendor has just like a 6-foot table and just like a tiny bit of space behind it. So they don't even have room for a full-size sign. So it's just like sad deli cups stacked in this basketball gym, and it smells like human decay.
Like a boys' locker room.
Right, there's no AC or heat, so it's just whatever. Yeah, this was way better than that. So
way
we're still
better,
winning,
yeah.
Way winning.
Still, I would do it. I'm gonna do it again next year.
I like that it's a one-day show in some ways.
I loved that it was a one-day show. Loved it.
Like the second day of Packed Mars is a tough sell. You're really tired, and you're like, do we even want to go that day?
One day was amazing and perfect, and I really liked that. And my friend Holly, who makes the earrings with Mesa Terra, check her out on Instagram. She only lives like 15 minutes from the venue, so I just like hung out with her, and it was fun. I will do it again. It was fine. It was a fine show, and I did fine, and it was worth the effort, and I will do it again.
The complainers on Facebook were out right away after the show. Did you notice?
So when I came up to you and was like, hey, look at this really nice comment on Instagram, and you're like, Jana, that's from like 5 days ago, and I was like, oh, I haven't been on Instagram since then, I guess. So I haven't been on Facebook
It's
either.
Probably okay that you have not been. It's just a shitty place to be, but I have to keep.
I want to hear about the complainers.
I have to keep tabs because I'm the only one keeping tabs on this podcast anymore. So all the news is coming from me.
Doing anything on this podcast anymore.
There were a couple people who were like, "Did you know that a reptile show even was happening?" And so there was like a picture questioning it. Like saw the sign, took a picture, and was like, "I didn't even know this was happening." So there was some confusion there.
I have seen that.
Yeah. And then down in the comments, there was people like, yeah, you shouldn't have even go because it wasn't worth it. There was nothing good there. There wasn't enough variety. And then the people were like, well, it's all captive bred. So if you don't see the variety that you want from captive bred, then you need to go captive breed it yourself and take it to the show because they're not going to wholesale a bunch of shit.
Well, did you see the post about the guy saying, okay, all you complainers, what the fuck do you want out of a show?
Right, and then he's like, I want chameleons and dart frogs. And like, okay, that's very specific sets of things. Those captive breeders exist around here, but maybe they just didn't come to this show. Because Lash he brings rare, weird stuff. Marilyn Rodriguez brought, I think, geckos that haven't even been bred in this country before. But that person who's a complainer was just complaining because their one weird thing wasn't there. Other weird things were there, and now it's all just supposedly ball pythons. Did you think there was variety? Okay.
Especially for May.
Right.
So there was hoggies, there was corns.
There was a lot of hognose there.
I saw corns and kings and some things I didn't even know what they were, but they were snake shaped. There was also all kinds of lizards and geckos and cresties and lychees. There was even somebody that had like aquatic. What was the one? It was like right across from me. They're little like aquatic
axolotls,
tadpoles. They weren't axolotls. Anyway, there was a lot. There was a lot of variety for like so few vendors.
Right, for 30 vendors, there were a couple of ball python only vendors. But there weren't that many ball python only vendors. If that was like the primary complaint, like
normally it's half ball pythons, and this was not half ball python.
Right? No, there was only
like 3 or 4
ball python only vendors. 4. Yeah, and some people had ball pythons on their table too, but they also had like 4 other species or 3 other species.
Like you guys had a lot of variety at this show.
Yeah, although we'll see if it was worth it. We'll see.
We'll
When we
see.
get into the number section. Yeah, I thought that person could go fuck themselves because I thought it was plenty of variety for the size show it was.
Absolutely a fantastic amount of variety.
And it wasn't just all snakes. Somebody said that, and I'm
No.
like, you're dumb. You're just not even looking if you think it's all snakes. Because I could look from my table and see like 5 different kinds of animals.
Insects, and
the hedgehog girl was there.
Hedgehogs, and then there was the normal vendors with like the stuff and the plants and the tanks. There was so much stuff for how tiny of a show it was. I felt like it was a good representation of the entire hobby.
Complainers. Fuck 'em.
Complainers. And they probably didn't buy anything. So,
right.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, I just think it's incredible that people think that it's a bunch of humans with living animals should be expected to present for them every kind, every time.
Yeah.
Like they could even have that animal. They just didn't have it for that show.
Breeding doesn't work like that.
Holy fuck.
Well, and then I feel like I made a lot of good contacts for the Puyallup show. There was a lot of people who were really interested in buying a ball python for their kids, and they were there with their kids, and they met some snakes, and they just didn't feel like they were quite ready. And so I was like, well, take my card. I'll be at the Puyallup show. And they're like, the what show? And so like I told them about Pac Northwest, and so then like they were like, because they were kind of teetering on the fence of like impulse buying. And I should probably, as a businesswoman, start like preying on that and making them impulse buy, because I'm sure with a little encouragement I could make that sale. But I don't like to do that. It makes me feel gross. So I usually am just like, well, I'll be at this next show at this time. Here's my card.
Here's a dumb question. Do you think that's too far away for the people up there?
No,
sometimes?
A lot of them were very like, oh, they go to the Puyallup Fair every year. They didn't know
so they're comfortable with that drive.
They're completely comfortable with that drive. Everybody seemed completely comfortable. I had a couple people write it down on my card, and I know that I have made future sales. Like there's people that have driven to, like when I went and did the Portland show, that drove to the Portland show because they're so excited about every show that they go to every show, that weren't quite ready, that then came to the December show and bought from me. And they're people that I talked to at the show 2 months earlier in Portland.
All right, that's
so
good.
I do get those like customers that come back that I didn't like force into a sale, if that makes sense. And they do actually buy snakes from me. So I feel like I made a lot of good contacts, and I was like, and I'll have a lot more because I have a bunch of clutches hatching and stuff. And so I don't know, I felt good about that.
All right, let's get into the hard numbers, Jana.
Okay, go ahead.
What did you sell, and maybe when in time, if you remember?
Fuck if I know when in time. Most
I just mean like generally. Did you sell most in the morning or middle of the day when there's like a
2 o'clock? I don't think I did any sales. Maybe like 1 after 2 o'clock. And I didn't mark down any of my prices, and I totally probably should have, but I was just like, fuck it. Somebody get me some goddamn coffee. I'm going to eat this cold pizza and
we did get complimentary pizza, muffins, and coffee and water.
That was amazing. Yeah. That was so amazing.
Yeah, I'd come back for that
at the other
anytime.
Yeah, I would just
also the table costs were much cheaper at this show.
Way cheaper. But it is only 1 day, so you have to think about that too. But I sold total, including with my friend's snakes, 12 snakes.
Nice.
And total sales for both of us was $2,300 in sales.
I also sold 12 snakes, and my total was also $2,300.
That's fucking weird.
It is weird because we have different price points on all of our animals.
And completely different animals for the most part.
Weird. Super weird.
That is a little bit crazy. I'm happy with that. Are you
Jinx!
happy with that?
Coke. You owe me a Coke, bitch.
Bitch, you were too fucking like, everything's on fire to go get drinks with us. Although I'm glad
I had a sensor push notification that the top of my ball python rack was 85. So I called my neighbor. I'm like, please go to my snake shack and open the doors, or at least like vents, because the outside air was cool, but it was heating up. Right. I had unplugged my racks, which I would have done if I'd known it was sunny, but I checked the weather, it was raining, and it was a lie. So I was like, if the
It did
neighbors,
pour all morning.
right, it was fine in the morning, but once the sun came out and like blasted it, it was too much. So the neighbors saved the snakes, but I needed to like go home so a raccoon didn't fucking stroll into the snake shack and whatever. We don't want to fry any eggs this year. We've done that before.
No,
In
no, I
snakes.
totally understood.
I was
Mostly
dying from a
teasing
headache.
you. And also, she looked like she wanted to curl up in a fetal position and have no will to live.
My headache was gone. The
So was
brain.
Chris happier with that? Because you did better than you did at the 2-day show.
I don't think Chris has ever been disappointed by anything. He has zero fucks to give about
Oh, okay.
the snake business. He's like, as long as you don't burn the house down, that's
Oh my
cool.
gosh. Can we just clone him, please?
He's real cute.
He's a real cutie. Although I'm kind of in love with your other little cutie.
My
Oh
little
my gosh, I
baby.
want to smooch him.
He's pretty fun
oh,
too. Anyway, it's funny how we sold the same amount of snakes too.
And the same price. How did that happen?
I don't know. Let me just give you like the breakdown of what I brought, and then it'll be interesting what I sold. And then you can give me the breakdown of what you brought. So I brought 2 adult colubrids, 4 adult or subadult ball pythons. Not subadult. 3 hatchling ball pythons from last year.
Did you have female adults?
Yeah.
I didn't see those. What were they?
Hold on a second. 2021 corn snakes and 2022 corn snakes.
Okay.
The
So the
2020
2021s were the ones that were like looping and hanging out in your.
Yeah, so they're big enough to
Okay.
fit in a
Like,
whatever
oh, they
and
were
and
really
look
tempting.
nice because they're bigger now, right?
Yeah, they looked
and
great.
those were in 2 price categories: Miami Tesseras, which were between 150 and 250, and normal ass like multi-head males that were $40. And then the 2022 babies were gray and super tiny, and were either 80 if they were male and 140 if they were female. All right, what did you bring to the show?
I don't know how to break it down like you just did.
I mean, did you bring like older males, breeding
I
males?
brought breeder males that I no longer needed.
Okay, and then you had a breeding female?
adult that went to a pet home.
Nice.
And then I had a lot of 2021 hatchlings, male and female. And then I had my Het DG clutch from this year that was my breed share clutch.
But you just
And
brought
I
the
had-
males, right?
No, I had the females too.
Oh, you didn't want the females?
I got 3 females and 2 males. And I brought,
The pastel head DG?
I didn't get a pastel Het DG. I kept the Enchi pin calico Het DG. She's my holdback.
Oh.
And then I brought.
I should have
the
bought a
other-
calico. Did you sell a calico head DG female?
No. I didn't. They both turned out to be male.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. So I just had my holdback that has calico in it, and then I had a pastel calico male Het DG. I brought them and I priced them what they're being sold for on Morph Market, and they were priced too high for the show, so they didn't sell, which I'm not upset about. But if they would have sold, I wouldn't have been upset either. Because one is a pin Het DG and one is just a Het DG. So my male is pin DG, so he's going to be producing a lot. So if I don't end up keeping those ones, it's not really a big deal. Does that make sense?
A female pin head DG and a female normal head DG.
Correct. I'm keeping the 3 gene Het DG.
Yeah, they might sell in July at a Morph Market price to a more breeder refined person who is there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, somebody looked at the pin Het DG. He just didn't want to pay my price. So
God, what is it? I had this problem in December. People be like, I know what that is. I know that it's valuable. What's your lowest offer? And you're like, if you know what it is and you know it's valuable, why won't you play the Morph Market price for this female head recessive?
Yep. This really nice example. It's a really nice clutch. Like, they're really bright. They're really pretty.
I know, that's what I don't get. Like
this is a
you
good
and I
example.
are people who are in the hobby, and the person is coming and looking at you, and it's like, we both know you would go buy this on Morph Market and pay shipping for
Yeah,
this
on
price.
top
So
of that
save
price.
shipping and buy it right now instead of trying to like haggle
Or
down
even, like,
50%.
Or even like ask for $50 off. I had her listed at 400 which is the morph market price, the low morph market price, pin het DG. Offer me 300, but don't give me the
Right.
what's your lowest price?
Right. They're all trying to still get a deal or whatever. I don't like
I mean,
even.
I would have bargained, but it wasn't even like he was bargaining. It was just like he
I
basically
think it was
just
even
wanted
the
me to
same guy. Can I say that?
give it to him for free. And his wife's like, "Oh, this one's so pretty. I really like it. And you said you wanted more DG and blah blah blah. And it's female. Like females did not sell good at this show. It was so surprising. Although I don't know why I'm surprised because the males go to pet homes and they sell really good at shows. So I should just remember that. But I brought a couple of really nice female snakes that didn't sell. That if you were a breeder looking for nice snakes, they would have been a good snake to buy. And I've heard complaints that there aren't enough females for sale at shows. And then I bring females and they don't sell.
Right. Every het DG or het clown that I brought to the December show did not sell, except for the one I sold to Carter, which is
I remember that. And they were like ones that were like multi-gene hets.
Right.
Nice examples.
Right. So those do not sell. Maybe from us. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where like maybe they'll go to Bad's table because they know Bad is a person with like high-end ball pythons.
Oh, yeah, maybe they don't believe that I have DG in my...
Yeah, or something. I don't know what the psychological torture process here is. Yeah, I would wheel and deal on the prices I had a little bit, but they always come to you and they act like they want it half off. And you're like...
Right.
We
That's
both
totally
know this is a...
If this pinstripe het DG female goes home with me, I'm not going to cry about it. So
right.
Fuck
It'll
off.
just get bigger and more expensive. So, yeah. Yeah. So
I'm just gonna keep feeding her because she's pretty.
So I brought 3 breedable within a year female ball pythons.
Okay, what ones?
The lavender mystic, the cine hepide with obvious hepide, and a banana pewter 66% hepide that maybe isn't hepide. You can't tell. It's a little hard. That one is not as obvious. Only the banana sold because it's a fucking
the
banana.
Bananas always sell. Yeah. I should have bought your banana. Damn it. Bananas always sell.
Yeah, but like I also bought a lavender mystic, which also looks strongly weird, like different looking.
I saw her. She was gorgeous, but I don't have anything I want. I want nothing to do with lavender. Sorry.
Yeah, didn't want you to buy her. I'm just saying like she was another example of she's a
that color snake.
Yeah. It probably was just a little bit too expensive. I priced her expensive on purpose.
Lavenders are too expensive.
Fuck you guys. I've gone back and forth with like, do I get rid of her? Because I know I'm going to have a fucking compound anyway. So it's not like I can't run Lavender 2. Like, who cares?
Right.
But I am just less excited about Lavender. So I tried to sell her. But I also don't want to sell her for the exact price I bought her for 18 months ago.
So depressing to do that.
So I bought her for $650 and then paid $65 to have her shipped or something, and then $70 to have her, or $60 to have her boa paneled, and then $50 to ship that swap. And then I fed her for 18 months. She needs to be more than $800 at least.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
So that's why I'm like, I don't fucking even know if I can't get what I want to sell her for, then I might as well breed her to a fucking inchy, yellow belly, fucking fuck all whatever, and make like a really colorful double head. I'll make Starburst. I don't care. I'll be fine. If she stays forever, I don't care. But I'm not gonna dump. Like, you know, you can dump like a female codon ball python, kind of. You're just like, oh, it's a single gene cine. I bought her for $200 last year, and I'll sell her for $200 this year. She bred once and I got eggs. You don't feel weird about...
No, you feel like you got your money's worth because she dropped a clutch.
Right. But I haven't gotten a clutch out of the lavender. So she needs to sell... She's a visual recessive with a codom. It's 2 years old. I'm not going to sell her for $500. Fuck you guys. Just to make the sale. I'd rather keep her. So
have you put her on Morph Market? She's more likely to sell on there.
Yes, animals like that are more likely to sell in there. But right now, shipping is fuck all $100. I shipped a snake 2 weeks ago for $100. to Wisconsin or something.
Yeah,
12
prices
by
are
9 by 7. So I
awful.
have to
Yeah.
change my flat rate pricing
Yeah.
or start
It's
charging
bad.
people exacts because it's not even close anymore.
No, it's bad.
It's gone up a ton.
I sold one of my lesser females because I've had her 2 seasons and she hasn't laid, and she went to a pet home, so hopefully she doesn't fucking go.
That'd be wild.
'Cause I don't think
I
they
mean, you
appreciate
ultrasounded
that.
her right before you bagged her up, right?
I literally
Yeah,
ultrasounded
me too.
her
I just
before I
double
put
checked.
her
I
in
was like,
the.
let me make sure I'm not hallucinating. And I checked every female.
Yeah, no, I absolutely was like super like anal ultrasounded the whole bottom third of her, like both sides. Was like, yes, she has 3 millimeter follicles.
Was she the only female you took?
Adult female?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
My other ones that I would take are they haven't had enough meals yet. So they'll go to
Oh,
the July
post
show.
egg
Yeah.
laying, yeah. Yeah, I have that problem too.
I
Because I
just
was thinking about taking adult female corns that were like on the lower end. This was part of
mhm.
the thought process. I was like, okay, they've laid twice. I got their genetics out of them, but I know now that they're not het for whatever. That's interesting. So
Right.
do I need more $150 producing females, or should I just
No.
get rid of
You should get rid of
her
those.
and go back down to maybe 5 female corn snakes that are all $300 or more? Because you can sell a shatter all day for $250 all day. And if it's like a shatter combo, it could be more expensive. So I brought a single penis corn snake.
Oh my gosh, Holly with Mesa Terra is madly in love with this boy
He's a
with his
good.
single penis.
Yeah, he was my. Left his.
How many times did she take him out and pass him around?
I don't
I
know.
thought you were gonna have a
5.
heart attack. It
No,
was so funny.
I've felt. I don't know why. I just felt better at this show about
You didn't seem as worried as
handling. Because we didn't have weird neighbors. Our neighbors were
yeah, that
nice
really
and
stressed me
cool.
out.
And they didn't have snakes roaming loose and stuff. And no one put snakes on my table. I don't know. I just felt safer. Maybe it was psychological. Maybe all this is mental problems. You know, if my corn snake goes out into an area that has not been touched, I don't know. You know, obviously that person has gone and touched other stuff, but I just felt it was better.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
she got him out like at least a half a dozen times.
right. And he's an older corn snake, 4 or 5. He's full size. So he's like a cool, chill dude corn snake. So,
Oh yeah, he was a really chill dude.
yeah. So he's the better example. Maybe that's why some of the corn snakes sold. I don't know. Like the babies. Because you're like, this
Oh,
is the
she was like
adult.
pimping your shit the whole
I'm
time.
surprised
That's why
he
I liked
didn't
him.
sell because he was cheap.
He was cheap, and she was like so many people held that snake. This is why I like to have her by me because you gotta have a corn snake, you gotta have a ball python, you gotta. She's so funny. She probably sells off my snakes every show.
Good job. And I like a dedicated. If you're gonna have a handling snake, I prefer like a dedicated one because it's easier for them to come back. A, they're nicer, right?
Right.
And B, you know, if they get something, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Sorry, guy.
So she brings those snakes, and they go home with her.
Right. So that
My
makes
handling snakes.
it easier. So like I could
After
keep him just as a show snake. I almost wish he was a
right,
different color because he could be like red and
like if he was
white or
flashier.
something. Yeah. So I could demote some future male son that's no longer breedable but is nice, and because males are bigger in corn snakes. My cat is losing his beautiful mind. Look at his little butthole. Do you like it? Meow meow.
He is flashing me a full-on butthole. Fill my hole.
Oh, meow meow. I'll put my kitty in the whole back rack. Meow. Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
now that I can't get over my cat. So yeah, that was fine. I was not stressed about that at all. But he didn't sell. So even though he was well appreciated, nobody actually wanted him, which is strange. And then nobody wanted I brought the adult male Slowinski eye also as like the rare one, something different. Also did not sell. He was only $100.
Yeah. Interesting. How much was what's his face?
I had 150, and then I did do price markdowns at 2 p.m. and he was 125 after that.
Oh, that's a great adult corn.
And he could probably
price.
still breed, frankly. This other side.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I bought
yeah.
him for $400.
Flip it in a little. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's worth a decent chunk of change because he's double homozygote and a dominant trait. And half of his babies, like Tessera basically just makes all corn snake babies $100 minimum. Just having Tessera.
I love Tessera.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
I love
like,
it so much.
if you run a Tessera male over
Codom?
It's dominant. There's no version of it. There's no super form.
Okay.
But you can make a homozygous that only produces Tesseras if you want. So he's powerful in that he can just like, whatever shitty corn you have, you will at least make half of them be $100.
The cat is like, you stopped petting
I
me.
know, I'm so sorry. So he's still okay. He just probably can't run 6 girls. He only has 1 wee wee now. You might need just do,
you don't know.
Just do 2.
He might just be totally rocking it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, whatever. Here I come with my 1 peen. You ain't even gonna notice, are ya?
Yeah.
Not the size that matters. It's how you use it.
That's true.
Well, maybe it's not the quantity. It's how you use it.
Or you can only use one at a time in the snake world. So he's got the right stuff. Yeah, it was just interesting that he did not sell. I priced him aggressively and tried to get him out as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, you had him out a lot.
Like if someone was like, can I touch this tiny corn? I'm like, no, how about you touch this big corn? Because I can move a tiny corn much easier to Oklahoma than a big corn.
I'm still surprised that's a really adorable one that was like hanging off the lock all day. Like, look at me, I'm so cute. I almost took him home because he was so freaking cute.
So none of that price point or look sold. So,
okay.
So no Miami Tesseras sold. I did price them kind of aggressively. This is where we were getting at earlier. But I had one of them at 150, like the male, because he was less important. He also did not sell, but he looked the same as his sisters.
Interesting.
So I don't know. A couple people had them out and looked at them and then didn't want them. Only the $40 normal of that size range sold, and all of them sold. And I had people be like, put this one on hold. I need to go get something. Like, there was a demand, and then one sold out from someone. So I gave them one of the $80 babies for $40 just to be like, sorry about that. So price was really driving that part of the sales. But I managed to sell all of my shitty normals from last year in one fell swoop. They were males. It was interesting because I haven't been able to sell them literally anywhere else. Not at the December show. Not on Facebook.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Not as like an add-on to some other order or whatever.
So are you going to, if you don't do the July show, are you going to wholesale some of that shit to me for the July show?
Oh, God. Do you want it for the July show?
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, if you think you want to try it. I guess the problem is, like, you would have to keep it if you didn't sell it.
Well, I mean, I could feed it and I could house it.
Right. I guess because your king snakes didn't go.
My king snakes didn't go, so I have my whole vision rack.
Oh, yeah. Then sure. Yeah. Fuck it. I don't want to pressure anybody into anything weird. Yeah,
I just need that Holly can pimp them for me, so
yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to having some corns on my table if you're not coming. But if you're coming, then you do it. But if you're not coming,
I don't know what I'm doing, as always. Like, right now, I would like to come. I keep asking Chris, I'm like, I think I was going to buy 2 corners. Is that weird?
That's a lot of space.
I know. But
do you want to do 2 corners, or do you want to just be next to me again? Because
we could take up a whole fucking wall. Oh, I could do maybe 3 tables. I just felt like 2 tables might not be enough.
We could probably just get them all together and do 6 tables.
Yeah, don't they make tiny islands sometimes? Like if we got 6, we would get one end of the island.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Dominate the space. I don't need
Yeah.
2 corners. I just need like a lot.
Well, I mean, maybe we
I
could
have
even do
3 litters
like a
of
whole
boas on
pod.
the ground.
A
3
whole
litters.
pod.
And then,
Because that'd be 8 tables. Because Lindsay's coming. She already booked her tickets.
yeah. I mean, the thing that's stopping me is like, that is literally either after we have to move or the week we have to move or maybe like the week before we have to move.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So maybe when you decide, let me know. But
It's
if
I'll
you,
decide once we get an offer on the house and know
okay.
how much rent
Right.
back
I mean, we
time we
have like
have.
8 weeks before you even have to think about it. But
I will have at least enough to do 3 tables. 3 litters of boas. I have 2 clutches of ball pythons in there. I will have all of those female ball pythons that have laid eggs and gone back on food, adults, and 400 corn snake clutches of all kinds, different colors. Well, like I can physically move all of the animals that will be produced, but there's just no reason to move a bunch of normal corn snakes. You know what I mean?
right. That's what I'm saying. If you
Yeah.
want to consign some stuff to me or wholesale stuff to me or whatever, I don't want any boas. Sorry. Adult females or balls or corn snakes, I'm cool with taking
Right, sure.
either consignment or wholesale, however that makes you comfortable. Because I have the space and I know they'll move at the shows, and I'm going anyway. So
Did you set her prices or did she set her own prices? I guess is my next
she did her own
question.
prices.
Okay. Did that
I would not have
inchy ghost
set
sell? Female.
in the first hour.
Yeah. That was nice. You should have bought it.
All the ghosts, I should have bought it. All the ghost stuff sold because she had it priced really, really, really cheap.
Mm-hmm. She wanted to sell it.
I should have just bought them all.
Well, just bought the
and then
female.
doubled the price.
Yeah. Oh no.
I wanted to buy the female, but
It'll take a while for her to breed. Let's be honest.
yeah.
She's got to be.
If she hadn't have sold, I would have kept her as mine. I would have bought her and kept her.
Yeah.
So she sold. She was the
Did
first
the
snake I
ghost
sold.
sell better? Do you think than? Did you have any albinos on your table? I don't remember.
I did have an albino.
Did you have a
He did not
banana on
sell.
your table?
I did not have any bananas on my table.
So the albino didn't sell, but the ghost did. The gene that everybody shits on for being too subtle and shitty.
No,
Curious.
but her clutch, her orange ghost line, it's so orange. It's so bright. It's so gorgeous. That was a gorgeous clutch. And it all sold. Those are the first 4 snakes I sold.
All right. Gotta run some more ghosts. There was a black pastel G-stripe ghost on Morph Market. Male. I know it's a male, but it was really nice looking. It was $700. I was like, huh. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I need a
ghost tester. I just thought that was like, it wasn't like a high-end double recessive male, but it at least made it fun because it was black pastel. It was real dark and blue looking.
I have my my trio, my double het trio with GHI, cinnamon.
Well, go buy that male. Do you have any money? Are you poor?
I'm so poor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the most expensive snake I sold was $700. What was the most expensive snake you sold? Without tax.
Without tax, yeah, of course, without tax. Oh, the female, the proven breeder, but she hasn't gone for me the last 2 seasons. She sold for $400.
But she was just a single gene lesser?
Yeah.
I'm impressed somebody bought her as a pet for $400.
Yeah, for $400.
And didn't want to breed it.
No.
Nice.
They bought a baby at the show in Puyallup. It's like real boring. And it just like hides all the time and is like a little scaredy cat. And so they wanted an adult that they can like hang out with while they're waiting for their other one to like grow up or something.
All right. People are weird.
And so,
okay.
yeah,
that's fine.
they just wanted a big snake to hang out with, and she was this big
snake,
Big Bertha lady. So
she really wasn't that big. Everybody at home, she looked like she might have been 2,200 or something.
No, she was just barely 2,000.
Yeah.
But to the everyday lay person pet world, that's pretty big for a female as a pet, not for like a breeder female.
Also, your males are all small. Can you explain this to me?
I don't know.
My breeder males. I don't know. I just every time I see them, I'm like, God, those hatchlings look kind of big, and then I'm like, oh fuck, that's the leopard Mojave double hit clown pied. Why is this? I don't even think I'm
so fucking big.
I don't
what
know.
Do you feed them?
Cocaine and gummy bears.
They eat weaned rats, and sometimes when I don't have weaned rats, they eat small rats every week.
Mine eat small rats.
Oh, yours always eat small rats?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to just invite you over and show you in my holes all my snakes.
She wants to show me her peens.
It doesn't matter. It's just like surprising because yours look like mine look like 8 months ago.
We've had this discussion
or something.
Too because your little bottlenose yellow belly head is huge and mine was still like scrawny.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Maybe you just like feed
somehow.
Slightly smaller prey items than I do, and that's enough of a difference. That my adult males are.
But I was told
1,200 grams.
Oh yeah, I only have one that's over 1,000 grams. My desert ghost male is like 1,500 grams.
I don't think I have an adult breeder male that is below 1,000 grams. Let me just put it that way.
That's interesting.
My biggest one is probably 2,000 grams now because he's a fucking monster. I love it. Not fat, long, big. No, like I don't size control ball python males because I think they are stronger if they're bigger. A little rapier.
I prefer them if they're bigger.
They can lose more weight and like don't matter.
I don't worry about them losing.
Right.
Yeah.
I would feed your males more, I guess is what I'm saying. But you don't have to. But if you want, I'm just surprised how small your males are for being 2 years old or whatever. They're still 700-800 grams. They could probably fit in a fucking V18.
Yeah, they can. I mean,
not very comfortably, but like
some of them are still those two that were left. They didn't sell. I have them in Freedom Breeder 10s.
Maybe that's the right way because you don't have to use up an FB40. But I'm pretty sure my GHI clown male bred 20 females this year. He didn't like finish them, but he like started and had multiple locks with 20 females. Jesus. He's fine. He's a big boy too. I made him big.
Yeah, maybe I should feed him more. I was told never to feed above a wean.
Who the fuck told you that? I've never said that.
No, that's not from you. That's from...
Some people are like, don't ever feed them bigger than a mouse. And they're like, what? There's no reason to size control males in the ball python world, really, because they're almost the same. Yeah,
I guess I'm feeding them smaller prey size. But like I said, sometimes they get smalls if that's what I have. Because the price difference between a weaned and a small, it's not enough that I'm like saving money by not feeding them a small.
Right. I don't think you're torturing your snakes. I just think I just am always surprised by the size of your males when I see them, which is, I don't know what that means. It just means you've been feeding them weans mostly.
Oh yeah, like 90% of the time.
Right. Mine get on smalls at 8 months old, like now-ish.
Whoa.
Or whatever, and then they're on smalls forever. I just reduce the interval when they are, as they get older, they just don't eat as much, so they'll eat a small every other week.
Okay.
Gabriel, my NGDG, he came to me big already. He got even bigger here, like longer, because he was a little bit size controlled with whatever program he was on. Even bigger somehow. And I don't feed him but every 2 weeks also, but he gets a small.
I'll try it.
He's a monster too.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to keep him small. Not trying to keep them in a certain bin size. That's just, I feed them a weaned and that's the size they are. Everybody's 800, 900 grams.
I think you're just accidentally size controlling them by only feeding them weans.
Okay.
Because a male ball python is not supposed to be 800 grams.
What's it supposed to be?
I don't know, whatever it wants to be.
Okay.
12 to 1,500 probably. And then like a big male is 2,000 grams or 2,400 grams.
Okay. I hear you.
Yeah. How old is the leopard?
I'm learning.
Is it a leopard in 2018 or 19? The leopard Mojave doublet clown pied?
2020. Okay. And he's probably 800, 900 grams.
So my GHI clown is the same age as your whatever.
And he's twice as big.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's done growing pretty much, like he's stabilized or whatever, like over the last season. So he wasn't eating every week. You know, he would 2 weeks on, a week off. So I don't
Most of
need to
mine eat
feed him
every
as
week
much.
though. Okay.
Maybe I'm overfeeding him, Jana. I don't think I am.
Yeah. No, I don't think you are either. I think overfeeding a male is like a 2,500 gram male that's like got thunder thighs.
Right, and males rarely do that. They don't let themselves do that.
They normally like size control themselves
Right,
after
and
a
I
certain
had
point.
my Bell male that was probably 2,500 grams. He needed a V70 because whoever had him before me really fed the dickens out of him. So he would live in a V70, and he would take 4 months off every winter, even if he wasn't bred, and he just would lose a little bit of weight again, but then he would go back to eating mediums for the summer months. He was a monster. He would have been a good show snake also. Sold him. All right,
So my most expensive was 400. What was your cheapest?
40.
You $40 corns?
I had five $40 corns. You know what I was surprised by? I sold teeny tiny 2022 corns that were gray and just basically kind of boring looking. But there was something about the novelty of the smallness compared to the other ones that somehow this time meant something. And so somebody actually bought one of the $140 versions of the small gray ones, but not the bigger red and gray stripy ones at the
Interesting.
same price point, because they were like, yeah, it was very strange when like no corn sold last time and a very strange mix of corn sold this time. I did finally finish selling off the first boa litter from last year, the last one of it.
That's awesome.
Took basically a whole year because they were born on May 1st last year. I think it's just like a boa thing. If you have 25 of something or whatever, it just takes a long time to place all 25.
Right.
Maybe if ball pythons were in larger amounts per group, it would take just as long. I don't know. But it feels like with ball pythons, you're like, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Of that kind or whatever, because you had only so much. We'll see this year. This year will be it's still not like a big year for me. I don't know. You have a better year for ball pythons coming, right?
This year, I'm hoping to do 25 to 30 clutches. Yeah.
No, I mean like a better year in terms of quality.
What I'm producing? Yes. Significantly
Is it
better.
still mostly hets, or are you hitting visual recessives very often?
I should be hitting visual clowns, visual pieds, and then the clutches that aren't visual most of them are double hets.
So you feel like you're going to bring a lot of diversity to your offerings of what's for sale, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
You're not mostly just selling.
It's not going to be 100 fireflies.
Every year, I've only been selling people 100% het recessive males and females. Never visuals. Well, I guess I sold one pied each year, visual pied. So I still feel like it's going to be like a bum year because it will still be hets mostly produced again this year.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, and what I'm going to be giving, because any female visuals will stay, but male visuals will probably go.
Right.
But it's still not like a visual to a visual. It's a visual to a het. My pairings.
Right. Well, I'd only have one visual to het pairing total. Pretty sure.
Oh.
So I'm mostly still selling hats. So it's not like a transformative year for ball pythons for me again. It does suck. But I have like a better year in terms of like variety of corn snakes and variety of boas to be able to sell.
Yeah, your last two clutches. Oh, they're so pretty. Not clutches, litters. Sorry.
The most recent one is like very aberrant. I have no idea why. Also, I guess we're in collection update. Any final thoughts for the show?
I'm happy with what I did. I'm happy with what I made. I'm happy with the pizza. I will be at the Monroe show next year.
Yeah,
I was a little disappointed that I didn't have more of my own stuff to sell. But now that I know about that you're going to sell about, 10 to 15 snakes, that's what I'll plan for next year.
My thing that like busts my balls is almost all the snakes that went to this show went to the last show and didn't sell. So like
a few of mine are from the last show, but most of mine weren't from the last show.
Right. I need to figure out. Obviously, like more times at a show, more chances to be sold. So like But I didn't bring that many new snakes. But most of my money was from this new snakes I brought, which were older ball pythons. I sold that clown, the banana clown, as a pet.
You what? What?
Did you not know that?
I didn't know he was at the show. The banana posset.
Yeah, the
The
pastel
banana clown
banana
posset
pied.
pied.
Yeah. I don't think he's any good. And I got him
Yeah.
on like pre-killed rats, and I'm like, okay, you're ready to be a pet. If you're taking it off tongs again and like used to that,
Yeah.
let's go pet your ass. You're a banana. Someone will buy you. And
I
he went to a
need
pet home.
a pied male with banana. I do.
I'm like getting over banana. Is that weird? Like I know they make good show fodder, but I don't
They
care
make good show
to
fodder.
make good
And if
show fodder anymore.
I need a male pied with banana in it so that the male pieds or the male het pieds have banana. So, because that's show fodder.
I know, but you just go by like a DG pied, and then the males are worth more.
Then those aren't show fodder. Yeah, that's morph market. But yeah, so I've been
Are
thinking
you
about
still
that.
buying a Kiki this year, or are you poor? Are you gonna like sell all your babies just to like? Is your goal to like make the snakes pay for the Kiki?
I am hoping that I will be able to still buy a Kiki by end of season. I may have to sell
Like a project?
a project to be able to do that, or sell some important, expensive like female or something. Some sacrifices will have to be made to make that happen. But I no longer have the money to just buy it that I did before.
Right. I assumed as much. I just didn't know if you were still gonna do that. We're gonna like take a knee and just get like a clown het G-stripe male for this year, because that'd be an easier one to like use babies
I
to buy.
have been watching for that and for a Kiki, and probably the smart thing to do right now would be to get the clown het G stripe, because then I can throw them to G stripes and they'll be G stripes het clowns. But because I have a army of G stripe females, but I would still really love to get a Kiki male. We'll see how we can work it. I don't know. Maybe I'll have
Garrick
to
Meyer
sell.
in his most recent video said he had Kiki clutches in the incubator already.
Yes, he does. I'm just gonna keep my thumb on that pulse and swing for the fences. In the divorce, we're splitting our savings account. Technically, I have the cash in the bank to purchase a Kiki male, but I also have to pay for my nursing degree. I also will be full-time parenting. If I went and got a full-time job as a medical assistant, which I have the ability to do that, I will make as much money as it costs to put the kids in daycare. So
the system is rigged.
yeah, so how are you supposed to go to school full-time, work full-time, and parent full-time? Like, the system's rigged. I'm hoping to make enough money to, depending on how my FAFSA and scholarship stuff goes through, to make enough money off of the snakes that I can get a Kiki, because I think that it's pretty vital for my projects. And I would like to continue forward despite the divorce with my ball python business. And so that's still the goal, is to make that work. And so technically I do have the money, but it feels a little irresponsible to be spending half of my savings while I'm not working and going to school full time on a snake. So I may need to sell some of my snakes from a different project to make that work, or take it from the profits to make that work. So there's like different avenues that it could work, but technically the money is there if another one pops up and I need to buy it like that day. I just have to kind of decide if that's what I'm doing.
Right.
It's something I've been thinking a lot about, because that was the most important thing to add this season. And I bought a clown pied male, and I don't regret buying the clown pied male, but because I also had the money for the Kiki. And so I don't want to end up with a clown pied and not a Kiki. That doesn't make sense to me.
Would you sell clown pied, do you think? Just like the project or large parts of the project?
I don't want to have to do that, but I would rather do that than not end up with a Kiki.
Right. Well, maybe you can do a thing. I don't know what Garrick Meyer does, but like it's obviously expensive. I'll put 2,000 down and 2,000 a month. And so it'd be easier to
Get that money from the
yeah,
snakes.
do a July show for 6,000 and then do some morph market sales or something, over a period of 3 months over the summer.
So normally he's pretty cool about payment plans. I don't know how he'll feel
About such a
about a
high
payment
end
plan
male.
for such a high-end, very desired male that he basically has a waiting list on. And that's where the savings comes into play, where, like if I bought it, I would have to replace that money with my show money and snake money, if that makes sense. Like, so I could buy it instantly when I need to, but then I would need to make that money back and put it back into my savings account because that's like my lifeline while I'm in school and not working.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, if I can get my custody issues worked out, there is a possibility that I can get a job as a medical assistant, like a prompt care, and they let you do like two 12-hour days. So like Saturday, Sunday, I would do two 12-hour days, and then I would be able to get health insurance, and I would have, basically working part-time, and then I'd have that money, and I could still go to school and parent all week long while not working, if that makes sense. So there's like a bunch of different things that could play out. I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row, and but Kiki is still a priority, and it's still my number one project. And so if I do have to sacrifice Clown Pie to make it work, I'll sacrifice Clown Pie to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm moving, as always. So I was just thinking about, like, if I could...
So if you see a Clown Pie again, that was a female, but yeah, please send it to me.
You mean
Please.
Kiki again?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Clown genetic stripe.
It didn't look
Damn,
that great. It was real
it didn't
uniform
look
colored
Kiki.
because of the
Yeah.
cinnamon. Yeah, I was surprised by how uniform it looked. That was a little
It
unfortunate.
looked like ass,
Yeah.
but if it had been a male, I still would have bought it.
Yeah, I'll keep checking. I've been on Morph Market more recently. Can't buy anything now, but looking forward to the next breeding season, I need to either pin down or finalize my purchase plans. So I was thinking about going, if we do the July show, sort of like taking a lot of stuff, like a lot. Most of my ball pythons or something that aren't good, like really good.
I've been considering doing that too.
And just be like, okay, now that we did that, let's buy
like a big clean out. Yeah.
Let's go buy 3 $5,000 females and 1 $8,000 male clown or something. And so I'll have het clown females for him right away, but then I'll have 3 really powerful, interesting females for him
in a couple
years. And then I'll be down 20 snakes in the long run and probably still be better off anyway. The old clean out, because we're moving anyway. And so
no, I mean, I think if you can make the timeline work, that you should do that. You should do the show and have a table of a lot of snakes. I've been considering that myself, doing a clean out, a clean up. And yeah, like really prioritizing projects.
Pro tip, the European desert ghost prices are much different than the US desert ghost price. Just saying.
Like, are they way cheaper?
Way cheaper.
Is that why Billy keeps buying them from Europe?
Probably. I'm talking combos that you don't see here with codoms, breedable males, breedable females, young females, male banana desert ghosts. That's got to get your boner going, surely. So then, like...
What does that look like?
It just looks like a really clean banana, but you would be making banana het desert ghost males, but then they're all desert ghost combos. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, just don't look at it too much because you're on a budget right now. But when a Kiki shows up, Labokin and stuff exist in Europe. They can test it. It can get sent potentially. So I was thinking about stuff like that. I was thinking about, we made $2,000 on a bunch of corn snakes and riffraff. So if we could...
riffraff for sure.
If we could bring $50,000 worth of inventory to the July show and sell even a quarter of it, what would I do with that money? Besides buy my cat more treats.
Meow meow.
Would I want to buy one $10,000 male and one $5,000 female, or an $8,000 male and three 3 to 5,000. I don't know. I was just thinking about it recently, and I was like, that's what I want to do this year. Bye. In every species I have, by the way, not just ball pythons.
I think that's a great idea. I need to do that a little bit. I've been thinking about it and looking at my lists and stuff. But if I have a clown pied male and a clown genetic stripe male, I want to make sure I have females for them.
Right. But let's say you drop down to 6 females.
Do I need to
for each one?
15 single gene females with no hets?
No. Yeah, no. So even if you drop down for one season, but if those 6 females combined could buy one female for them that's actually good for the next year or 2 years from now, wouldn't that be, even though you take a loss on this year's production, you get a win, which isn't terrible, in 2 years production.
Going to school full time.
Yes, that's part of what I'm getting at here is like, we all know all of this is true. People talk about it constantly, but now it's time to do it. Look at what you got. Do you need more of that? No. This year, I probably, even though I will want to, should not keep any het clown female that is not a new incomplete dominant combo at all.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to sell me another GHI.
Oh, fuck yeah, bitch.
Het clown combo.
Yes. Female. Yes,
because
now
Zibs. You heard it. You heard it here on the podcast. She is going to sell me a multi-gene GHI het clown female.
Right, because now I have...
Oh my gosh, I love mine. She's a beast eater, and she just gets prettier and prettier. And I'm like, I should have bought 12 of you. She's totally slated for the Kiki.
Like, I was looking at Desert Ghosts, Pastaves that are in Europe and don't exist here. And they're actually much better than A, Pastaves, and B, Desert Ghost, and all three separate. It's somehow the most betterest of all of them. And they're like $500 in Europe. I was like, this is insanity.
What?
So I was like...
Holy shit.
Right, $500 USD. So it's like...
Even with shipping, that's still like 60% off of what it would be in the US?
Maybe a $1,200 or something.
Yeah, like
but you just don't see them. Yeah. You just don't see them enough. I just like, I don't need to buy that, right? I don't need to buy a $500.
Right.
But I could go buy a Mojave DG het pied or het clown and start, because I have 15 het DG females. I just like Mojave DGs, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. No.
I don't know what we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's been too long. That's fine. This was a tough weekend. But I've been thinking very strongly of doing a Showcase Serpents where they sold 90% of their females and bought 3 extremely high-end females and just basically took 2 years off of like a large scale production to just increase the quality. I'm not going to sell 90%, but I'm going to probably sell everything that isn't het for a recessive at the very bare minimum this year, even if I like it.
No, I've considered doing that, but I hesitate only because if you have a double visual male and you breed it to something that isn't het, it's still making a double het. So I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying that you're not wrong.
No, you're still right to make double hets, but can you go assemble 8 het or visual for one or the other of his doubles instead of single gene whatevers?
Or, sell 4 single gene nothings
and buy one.
And one buy a double het.
Right. Can you do that? That'd be way more powerful and cool. Yeah, that's the goal this year. We don't need to make more hets of anything, really. Unless I buy into it. If I were buy into a new recessive at this point, I would not make hets again. I don't have time for them. I'll die before. I'd rather do it the correct way this time. Go buy a puzzle het clown and breed it to my high combo clown males. Like a puzzle het clown female.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of doing the long road. We have enough long road snakes right now.
I agree.
That's what I'm thinking about doing. The July show would be a great time to do that. Not all of my ball pythons will have laid by then, though. Some of mine lay after. Or during July, so they wouldn't have eaten, or right after in August.
Yeah. Did I tell you that my highway clutch was a bust.
No, what happened? That you were cutting?
Citrus pastel, leopard, highway to bright, which is a fire gene, yellow belly, and I only hit one highway out of 5 eggs, and no ivories.
But you hit a highway. So that means
Yep.
she's still definitely yellow belly. Okay.
Yes, she's still
Oh,
definitely
you
yellow
just got like
belly.
shit on by the odds pretty hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was real
Was
disappointing.
she sluggy at all?
Nope,
Nope. Okay. Yeah, sorry
no
about that
slugs,
one.
5 eggs. Yeah,
And
it
just
was a
a.
big bummer.
Did it come out yet?
But it's a good one. It
Okay.
might be a firefly leopard highway.
Did you see the freeway desert ghost?
No, I did not. Who hatched that?
Capital Reptiles. It's on Morph Market right now for sale. $10,000. 10,000
I'll have to go look
smackaroos.
it up.
It's actually very nice.
10,000.
I was impressed. It has that like glowy plastic look that highways and freeways have, but it's like been desert ghostified by being crisped up a good bit. And he has a super asphalt desert ghost male. I was like, that'd be a good purchase for somebody. Jana's gonna go buy it real quick. Everybody watch
It's
it.
female.
Yeah, I was like, that thing is cheap to me. Could be more expensive.
Yeah, you could pay 10,000 for
Just a DG combo,
just a
not
DG
a
combo,
super.
not an Axlex Super.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thought it was fun. I don't always think yellow belly
Anyway,
complex
that
stuff
was
is
that
fun.
was a little bit of a letdown. I got through. It was the last egg I cut, of course, and so I'm like, fuck, she's not yellow belly
Yeah, I would have thought that for a while until the
because
end.
there's no ivories and there was no highways, and I'm like cutting all through the eggs, and I'm like, well, this is not the clutch that I was wanting and expecting.
Do you
And
want
then
it
I
to
cut
be a
that last
female?
egg.
I'm assuming, or do you
I
want
do
it to
want
be
it
a
to be a
male to
female.
replace the father?
No, I wanted it to be female.
Okay, hopefully it's
I have,
female.
yeah,
How
and I
many?
mean, hopefully it's actually even a highway because it could just be a yellow belly combination that because they like to stripe sometimes.
Right.
So I gotta wait
Yeah.
for it to come out to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a highway. I don't know. I'm drop kick her to the curb. I don't know. I'm mad. I'm
Oh,
mad
the
about it.
female. Is she young?
Yeah. This is only her second clutch.
Hmm.
I want to say what she had 2019, 2018, something like that.
But she still only had 5. She's small.
Like 2K before she laid.
Huh.
She only had 4 last year, so she did better than last year.
All right. My black pastel and she laid 5 last year in a slug, and then laid 8 this year. Like a normal clutch size, which would be 7 or 8. As like a very mature adult female, so now she was a 2018.
Okay.
In my collection, I would keep females that their adult egg amount is 8 or above, and maybe not
Correct.
keep females
That's
that are.
why. That's
Right.
why, because she laid 4 and then she only went up 1 at 5 this year.
Yeah. Do you have a highway clutch? Any more highway clutches?
I have a highway. Yeah, I have a highway to the citrus pastel leopard highway. So that'll be
Oh.
all.
Okay. Well, there you go. You'll get stuff there.
Yeah, I just was wanting a citrus pastel bright highway, and I don't know if I got it. I'm a little bummed by that.
All right. My see-through corn snake died.
So do you think it was like a genetic abnormality, or?
They were just developmental. I gave him all little cups of water. I gave him like a water cup in there because corn snakes take forever to shed out. And he was like drinking a bunch. And I'm like, are your kidneys failing or something? Usually they don't go and drink right away. He was like
Right.
thirsty. And I was like, there's something wrong with you. And so he died in a couple days.
That sucks.
It was all right. I barely owned it. And then it was gone. The second boa litter happened in the intervening week. And it's very aberrant. I almost think there's a polygenic aberrancy in that line. Specifically that clutch, which is very weird. I'll have to take pictures.
I was gonna say, have you taken pictures? Or you don't take them till after they shed out?
I
or-
don't. I put pictures on
feel
the
like you've been
Discord
really
for the crazy
stingy.
people.
You've been real stingy with your boa litter pictures, and it's stressing me
Because
out.
they come out. Okay, let me explain to you what happens. You've had some babies. Okay, they come out. They're covered in goo.
Uh-huh.
Blood everywhere. Smells. So I take the babies out. I put them in like wet paper towels. And then they slowly sort of, their umbilicus shrivels up. that I have to change the paper towels. So by the time, like, I don't wash baby animals, by the way. That stresses me out when people do that. Like, manually wash baby ball pythons or baby boas. They don't need to learn how to swim. They're fine. They just need to, like, have it fall off naturally as they slither around on a clean surface. So I changed the paper towels.
It bothers me when people wash brand new babies, literally fresh out of the vagina.
Right, you don't need to do that.
Scrub it on them. It's like, they're fine. You don't, like, none of my babies were washed their first day of life or even their first, like, week of life.
Right, they're fine.
They're fine. That shit's got to just rub that shit in. It's good. It's good for them.
The waxy stuff it's protecting their weird fur skin. This is true for baby ball pythons and boas. That's why they have weird, shiny skin, so that they can be protected against the moisture of the albunum. So why are you washing them off and putting bacteria water on their little umbilicus that may or may not have been sucked in all the way yet? I don't know. It grosses me out. So I don't do that. I just change the paper towel so it's refreshed every day.
Yeah, I change it like every day.
Yeah.
That's what I do too.
Yeah. So the boas, by the time...
Because they like crawl around on it and it gets like little pieces of their umbilicus on it.
Yeah, so you take
like
that
raunchy.
out. It's gross.
Yeah.
So the little boas, by the time they're like, everything's sucked back in, there's no hanging bits, they're already like halfway in shed. So there's no good time to take a picture of them. It's either goo or 2 weeks later after they're shed.
Well, do you take a picture of it like before you pull them all out for mom? When they're like a puddle of goo?
Sometimes I do.
And like
this time,
you can see vagina goo.
Yes, sometimes for fun. Like I actually did a video of pulling Twiggy's litter, and I didn't do a video pulling the crazy hypo's litter because here's how you get a boa off of her litter. You go get a rat, and you give it to her because she's dying of starvation, and you pull her and the rat out, and you put them in a bin. You put the lid on, let her eat in peace. So in that process, you may have like...
rob her nest.
Yeah, you may have like spilled the water bowl, dropped half the substrate on the floor. She may have like gone for your hand defensively and offensively because she wants to eat and kill you at the same time. She's not sure which one's better. And so...
She's not sure which instinct she's going to go for right now.
Sweating bullets. There's not a lot of picture time. So usually the pictures are like after the babies are pulled in a bin. Yeah. I did take a video of me pulling them out, some of them. I also tried to take a video of a corn snake clutch, and that was a mistake. If you have like 16 little spaghettis just going places at the same time, that was a mistake. That may or may not.
This one that you did like 5 days ago, the boa litter.
So that's
Twiggy's
litter. So that one has a potential YouTube video.
You said that about the other litter, and I still haven't seen that YouTube litter.
No, I did a YouTube video for the corn snakes.
Wait, so is this Twiggy's baby too?
No, that's the baby from the second CAT plus to CAT plus pairing.
Right. Okay, the one that's all fucked sideways.
Mm-hmm. But so both sets of siblings both proved het for both CAT plus and a separate albino. So all 4 siblings are het for both. I'm actually very excited about the pattern anomalies in the second litter. They're very strange. Dinkerish. Maybe.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I just have to keep them all. Fuck it.
Mine. More boas. Sell all the ball pythons. Keep all the corn snakes. I think this is the opposite of what you said.
I know. What the heck?
Just like an episode or 2 ago when you were like, I need to downsize boas.
I retested all of the boas that had just given birth to make sure they were all still negative. The negatives continue.
Yay!
I'm gaining peace with the boas because they haven't fucked me over recently.
Yeah. That's very exciting.
Yeah, so like if they keep not fucking me over and I keep my boa collection mostly closed and fun and I only buy from people on the Discord, then maybe boas hurt me on an arena virus level mostly. Like that they're always a risk and you're always like, are they really negative? If they keep staying negative, it's more fun. Let's just put it that way. Because then they're not a risk to the ball pythons or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I think
I would
we're.
like a boa as like a pet, not as a breeding project. So you've gotta hatch me an IMG or something.
She's actually more gravid this week,
Okay.
which is weird to say because usually boas are more gravider than she acts. So maybe she doesn't. She might have like a mixed clutch of slugs and babies, but she's got something in her. She doesn't act quite correct. So there could be an IMG coming. You don't know.
All right. Well, stay tuned.
All right, next week probably boa feeding unless something else occurs to us. There was actually like big boa news, and we'll talk about it next week. Pied boa
I think boa and
updates.
boa feeding would be great. I think that's a good plan.
I
Oh, and
have
we've got a
this.
little cameo. Tell him to say hi to the podcast.
All right, Alex, say hi to the podcast.
Hi. Just I love you.
I just love
Thank
you.
All right, let's say love you to the podcast listeners.
Love
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Oh, he's so
Hi.
perfect.
I love you.
Hi, I love you too.
Uh,
Bye.
Bye.